Welcome back to Podcast Name, where we dive into the latest and greatest in tech so you can stay informed and inspired. Today, we're exploring a fascinating topic that's really changing the landscape of software development: the integration of AI into coding practices, specifically through tools like GitHub Copilot. Let's start with GitHub Copilot. Imagine having a coding buddy who's always there to help you brainstorm ideas or tackle tricky problems. That's essentially what Copilot does. It's an AI-powered pair programmer built to assist developers by suggesting whole lines of code or even entire functions. How cool is that? It's like having a well-read friend who's read all the books and can instantly pull out the best quote you need for your next big project. Now, you might be wondering how this all works. Well, Copilot analyzes your code and provides suggestions based on a massive dataset of existing code and content. It's trained on a vast array of programming languages, so it can literally help write code in what feels like no time at all. Just think about how that could shift the way we look at coding. Instead of being bogged down by repetitive tasks, developers could focus more on the creative and problem-solving aspects of their jobs. Isn't that refreshing? But here's an interesting question. What does this mean for learning? With such advanced tools, do you think new developers might miss on the fundamentals? Like, if a tool can write code for you, how do you ensure you still grasp the core concepts? And security is another big conversation piece here. How can we trust the code that AI suggests? It's a valid concern, especially when we think about vulnerabilities that could sneak in through automated suggestions. This is where the collaborative aspect of tools comes into play. Developers still need to review and understand the code being produced. It's a partnership. Humans still hold the reins. Speaking of collaboration, there's another feature of GitHub that's quite intriguing: discussions. This space allows developers to communicate and collaborate outside of traditional code reviews, sharing ideas and feedback on not just code, but best practices, project direction, and even learning resources. It's kind of like a casual brainstorming session over coffee, but, with less caffeine and more code. Now, moving to the enterprise environment, how does GitHub fit in? Companies are increasingly adopting platforms powered by AI to enhance their workflows. With features like Actions, teams can automate repetitive tasks, driving efficiency and letting teams focus on what really matters: innovation. It's exciting to think how these tools will shape the future of teamwork in tech. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the takeaways. GitHub Copilot and similar tools are revolutionizing coding by providing support, facilitating learning, and enabling developers to focus on complex problem-solving rather than repetitive coding tasks. But they also prompt us to think critically about our learning processes and the importance of security in our code. So, what's your take on this? Are you ready to embrace AI as your coding companion? Let me know your thoughts, and thanks for joining me today on Podcast Name. Until next time, keep coding and exploring new technologies.